You know? I'm very entertaining, in case you guys didn't already know this.
Better watch this crowd to say that kind of stuff.
All right, we're going to shut everything off. We're going to turn them on. Find each other.
Now they're saying now.
All right, now they're speaking the same language.
There you go. No sounds, and then there you go.
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't
Now they're saying we can hear.
Well, now they can hear me, but that's also because this isn't plugged in at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Keep going. Ready? See if you can still hear me.
Go out with.
Oh my gosh.
There's a whole lot of stuff turning.
Okay, wait. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? All right. Hopefully you can still hear me. If not, somebody yell at me again. I mean, I could take it out. I just know that this is much better sound quality than just the thing on that. I can hear you now. I see your boobies. I love you, Patricia. Yes. Okay, everyone can hear. Awesome. We'll go back to me being plugged in. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. I love that you guys come and actually listen to me. I'm like a weird cartoon character up here. Okay, so anyway, Michael is going to be, of course, my handy-dandy sidekick. Sandy-dandy sidekick? I don't know. I'll throw an extra one in there. All right, so as we're going through this, if there's any questions or anything in particular that you want us to cover that we're not necessarily covering, we really didn't prepare much for this presentation together, so we're just totally winging it. But I told him, let's go through a property that is either fresh on the MLS or that you've done, and he has a property with a lot of good photos and stuff. So I think it will be easier if we just go through a property that he's done, we go through the deal analyzer, we all know what numbers go where, and if you have any questions, let me know. Corin's cracking up laughing at me. All right, I can't see behind me. This is really weird. All right, what's the property we're going over, Mike?
Carrie Lane.
Carrie Lane. 1917 Carrie Lane. See, I'm just going to repeat him so that people on the thing can hear me. So that's weird. Okay, you guys can't see over there, though. I want to make sure that you guys can see it and not just look at me from the side, because that's weird. Now you guys can't see it. Come on. Hold on. Hold on. Are you good? Yeah? You good? You can see it? You can see it? Can I just stand back here for the rest of the evening? It's on? No, I know. All right, so let's show them the property real quick, show them some photos, and see if they would all want to make an offer on this property. One thing that I think is really important is every house is a deal. Is a deal. Every property is a deal. The question is, at what number is it a deal for us, right? So I think a lot of people go into it, and I'm just going to say this just because I've heard so many people say that, right? I feel like nothing, there's no deals. It's not a deal. It's not a deal. It's not a deal. Don't get that negative about it. You're going to analyze a lot of deals, especially from wholesalers where they have this set purchase price, and I am going to say that in air quotes because I bought 2 properties from wholesaler and have not paid his purchase price on either one. I paid his, oh shit, I've had it under contract for 45 days and I need somebody to close in 3 days. I'm just going to give you my bottom line price. Now did the numbers work for you? Okay? So.
What about the rehab price?
Well, I went in and figured out my rehab price.
No, because every wholesaler down here is $30,000. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I know.
$30,000.
So, and I also have a quick rule of thumb, which I love the repair estimator. I totally use it on properties once I have them under contract and it's necessary to use it. But half the time when I'm analyzing properties and I just want to make an offer, I do a real quick, is it going to be 25 grand, 50 grand, or 75 grand? That's or crazy something, 100 grand. You're either going to have to sit on her lap or go grab another chair. Sorry, Stan. No, just go behind me. Go grab a chair. Or, she's your wife. You can cuddle. All right, you got it? All right, I was just, you know, doing some commentary while we were waiting.
There's not a ton of photos, but you can kind of get just that this is a decent house. And it was on
We can give you the mic while you talk.
the house was on MLS, and it was on a kind of a unique, it's kind of a unique deal. The guys who sell, the group who sells these houses, they run an auction site. And I just happened to know the guy who owns the auction site, and I knew the house wouldn't sell for what they wanted because it was ridiculous. So I just called him after the auction and said, "Hey, will you take 175?" And he said, "Okay," you know. So anyway, so we buy it for 175, and there it is. The roof is fine. Somebody tried to add on this weird thing over here, like an extra patio, and this is the worst enclosed patio of all time. It was really bad. And the whole inside of the house, it was, you know, like this, like what, 1978 on the inside? So everything. This house is at 19th Avenue and Utopia.
And when year was it built?
I think it was, I'll tell you, hang on. So this is the actual tax record for this house. It was built, 1974, right? So here's the company who my friend owns, and then this is me, which this is the same company, right? So I bought it for 175. I sold it for 270. And when I'm buying houses in these kind of neighborhoods, that's the spread I'm looking for, a hundy, so I can screw up. Right, really, that's the reason, because unless the house is like kind of perfect, you've got to have some room. So we went. I'd like to have $100,000 in spread from what I think I can sell it for versus what I bought it for. No, like when I'm looking at houses and I see one for 175. I comp it out, and if I can sell it for 275, I'm buying that house that day. So, no.
So
Yeah.
one step at a time.
Yeah.
Let me get to rehab costs.
So,
He's just saying that's what he looks for. That's his rule of thumb.
so there, here,
Something that I can
yeah. Here's the neighborhood, right?
Don't worry about what you're
So this house I flipped right there, and then I bought that one. Do you see any houses over 270?
I can't see shit.
This, yeah. This is the only house that sold for 270, and it's the one we flipped. So, anywho, moving on. Let's go to the repair estimator if this is it. Okay, there it is. Deal analyzer. I guess we should do that first, right? So, I looked at the house and I figure, I could sell it for 270, and I did a rough guesstimate of 40 grand. So
40 grand for repairs.
for repairs, and so can you divide that by 1488? Anybody?
40 grand.
Bueller. By 1488.
Did I do it backwards? 2688?
No, that's right, $26 a foot. Okay, so I'll tell you this other trick that I didn't dream up, but another fortune builder did. So here's my, carrying costs over on the other side, right?
Okay, well, we can't skip through this, so let's go
No.
let's just go line by line.
Right, so here's what I think it's worth. Here's what I think it's going to cost me. Here's what I paid for it. I know I'm going to hold it 5 months. I've only been lucky once and flipped a house inside of 60 days, so I just figure. And I had like 3 houses going at the same time, so it's kind of hard when you're getting pulled in different directions.
So when you say flip in 5 months, is that from purchase to close of escrow?
From when I bought it to the day I sold it was almost exactly 5 months. It was.
On an average, how long does it actually take from day that you purchase it to day close? Is it usually?
I'd say 6 months.
8 months? Is
6.
it-
For these kind of houses that are 1,500 square feet, middle of the road. And it's taken,
If you're just starting, 6 months is always the same.
yeah,
I've seen where people ask me to look at their deal analyzer and they have 1 month in there. And
yeah.
this
We can't do anything in a month.
leads into all sorts of calculations, right?
Yeah.
On monthly holding costs, on all this stuff. So not having that, I think when you pull it up automatically, it says 1. Yeah. Just so that there's no like zeroed out numbers, it says 1. But that's like a very, very, very important number to change. So I would say everyone starting out, 6 months is a good rule of thumb. If you're gonna be crazy and do structural changes or add square footage, you better put 8 or 9 months in there.
Right.
Even based on price.
Yeah.
I would say if you're in that higher price range where you got the jumbo, mortgages and people have to qualify for that,
Yeah.
you might be looking at a 9 month, 12 month. I mean, $1 million houses in Phoenix.
Yeah.
We're not LA.
Yeah.
They're gonna sit there for a while.
I mean, even just anyhow, I'd rather be over on it. And budget for, 8, 9 months and
Right.
4 months, great.
Right, because that's extra money back in your pocket.
Exactly.
Yep.
Break down the holding time a little bit better. How much of that time would you say is repair time and how much is holding it just waiting for it to stop?
I sold that house in 3 hours. So it was, I would say most of the houses we sold last year, the longest it took was a day. I mean, really, if you buy houses in that price point in a super hot real estate market, they sell, right? I mean, try to take somebody out and look for a house that's $250,000. Good luck, right? You'll find them, but they'll be under contract already.
Between 200 and 250,000.
Oh.
Right now, we are less than 3 days of market.
Yeah,
It is so hard for me to find a buyer
yeah.
in that price point.
It's
They're
hard.
gone so quick.
So it's almost like shooting fish in a barrel if you do these. But that's why I like them. I mean, and does anybody know who Rod Carew is?
Yes.
What was he good at? Hitting for average, hitting singles. He was always on base. That's us. That's our flipping business. We don't really.
Do you know? Does anybody know? Could you hear me when he had the microphone? No. Okay, because I figure you're in the room. I'm talking about the people online. Stay awake, Margaret. Staying awake is half the battle. No, I do want to mention to you that this current as-is value does not affect anything in the repair estimator anywhere. There is no cell anywhere that looks at the value in that cell. So it's not used in any of the computations. I think it's more that somebody in Fortune Builders wanted to know how accurate they were, and it might be used more for like the hard money lender want to know what its as-is value is, because they'll base sometimes the percentage. But if you change that, I'm just saying for the Excel spreadsheet purposes, it doesn't actually matter. It's more like I would assume they put it in there so that if you were sending it to a hard money lender, the hard money lender knew what its value was now, right? Or what? Whatever they ask for as the as-is value? Yeah, it doesn't matter. What's your question?
How would the as-is value differ from the purchase price? Doesn't the purchase price dictate what the
No, so I mean, the as-is value, like I said, it could be more of what an appraisal would actually say it is valued as right now in its current condition. Because again, that's what your hard money lender, that's part of what they're going to look at to figure out how much they want to loan you. Not everyone.
Even some kind of a conventional loan, any loan in general.
Yeah.
Is going to want to know what would it appraise for right now. In
Yeah.
current condition, what would it appraise for?
I mean, most banks will still only give you 80% of purchase price, no matter what the as-is value is. I don't know. But anyway, I just want to make sure that everyone realizes that that doesn't affect anything else in the calculation. So it's totally unnecessary. I actually leave it blank all the time because it's just one less thing to think about. So if you don't have anything there, you're all good.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can keep going. And then these are just actuals, right? So this is property taxes. What are the property taxes? You should be able to look it up. And if you don't know what it is, a good rule of thumb for Phoenix, I would say, is like $1,200, $1,500. Right. I mean, you can look it up. It's easy to look up. HOA and condo fees, again, you should be able to find what the exact amount is. Insurance costs, I usually have a higher number in there, but you probably have a good insurance guy. But again, you should contact an insurance person and find out what that is. He's put in $625 as his insurance for annual. Yeah. Even I think, yeah, I was going to say, I think I usually have about $1,000 in there, or $135 a month. Okay. Again, but use an actual number or something that you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with it being, $1,500 for the year, then just put in $1,500 and do your, if it's less than that, cha-ching, great for you. But that's what I would do. And then utility costs, if I remember correctly, is there somewhere in here where it has utilities? Because I think that's on the other, isn't it on the other cell? It's on the other page, right? The first tab, so that just brings it in. But again, I usually use estimates for that for my monthly utility costs. $200 a month is plenty out here when you're looking at electric, water, and sewer, whatever. Okay, so any questions on that at this point? Are we good? Right? We got this? We got this. Let's go on to financing.
Okay, so this house,
Can we enlarge? Up higher? Scroll up. This one? You want that? Okay, so these options, this is what you're talking about, those options? Okay. I always leave it on purchase plus rehab because my hard money lender is going to usually give me purchase plus the rehab costs. You've never changed it? He's like, bing. It definitely does make a big difference. What are the other options, Mike? Can you go back in there? Yeah, and it definitely has a big change in your costs. I always had it purchase and rehab as well. I think that's the highest as well, isn't it, as far as costs? Let's play with it. Let's play with it. That's what I said. Let's play with it. So, Mike, do me a favor. Change this number. Well, leave it purchase plus rehab right now, and let's go down to see what the actual numbers are, like what our profit is. All right, somebody write these down. 28,408, right? Change that to just ARV. Change that. The top. Yeah, perfect. Now let's scroll down and see what that did. 28,408, did that change? We got to hit enter? It didn't enter it? $2,848. Didn't change. Yeah. Change it again. Maybe we have something funky in this one. This is really useful right now. $28,408. Okay, Mike has a bad deal analyzer. We need a new spreadsheet. Something in the formulas are messed up. Because it's not changing. Anyway.
I can show you quick numbers real quick. This is on my actual house itself. So purchase and rehab itself is $32,395.
at 10%, 10.7. If I do an ARV, I go down to 25,295 and a 8.1%. And purchase, come on, get in there. Get in there. So then I go down to purchase, 39,455 at 13.3.
Purchase, but then you're paying for the rehab if you're only using the funding for purchase. Yeah.
Doesn't that just show the difference in holding costs for the higher loan versus lower loan? So you're effectively, if you're doing it on ARP, that means you're borrowing a bigger number than if you're doing it on just purchase price, you're borrowing a smaller number.
Right.
So the profit is just a representation of the fact that you're
Correct.
not paying as much holding costs because you're borrowing less.
Correct. But then that money's got to come from somewhere. So you also have to take that into consideration that now you're coming up with the rehab funds from your whatever, your HELOC or whatever. So yeah, anyway, I always do purchase and rehab. I guess you can mess with it if you want to.
Is that how you fund the deal, is by borrowing the purchase and rehab value?
Yes. So yeah, and my hard money lender is going to give me usually 75 to 80% of the purchase price and rehab costs. And I think if you play with it in the full version, you can actually see like some of these. You can look at the formulas and see how they changed if you really want to. Yeah.
All the other numbers are changed.
Okay. So that's where I leave it, purchase and rehab. Thank you for making us go back up, Corinne. All right. Financing. Let's get into this, into the nitty gritty. I'm going to give this back to you because I want you to go over these. You're the finance guru.
Okay. All right, so on this deal, we borrow money from a commercial bank, so we have a line of credit at 7% interest only. We took out $175,000, and actually I had three or four houses going at the same time, so I really had way more money out than that on different houses. So here's the reality, though. Because I cross-collateralized 3 houses with 1 loan, okay, that's the normal deal we do, and then I just use my own money to do the rest. Well, 25, so 215,000. This number would be, let's change it. Because the reality is, I used my line of credit to do 3 houses at the same time. So what is that? That changed our financing a little bit, but not much. And so I make $1,000 less. Big deal.
And I just want to say that I usually have in here, like I said, either 75 or 80%, 1 point for hard money and 12% interest as just my go-to, right? That's what I know I can get from a hard money lender. I can usually get better, but I'd rather have the numbers a little bit high and make sure that I'm covering my ass.
Right.
So 75, 1, and 12 is what my typical deal analyzer is set at.
So, yes.
Would it be better to negotiate a higher interest rate than pay the point? So in other words, instead of paying 12% versus 1 point, can't you just maybe negotiate to pay 13%?
Possibly.
Depends on
How long you carry the loan for. Right. Yeah, it just depends on the carry time. And some hard money lenders have 6-month interest minimums, some don't. So you kind of got to look at that.
And the thing that's great about this is whoever you're talking to on the phone or dealing with, you just punch numbers right in there. You're telling me you already have
how do you figure in if you put them in the draws? Like if you're charging anywhere between 250 to 500 per draw, is there a way that you can put that in there?
You could,
haven't put it in the actual spreadsheet. I've just taken out the line.
you could probably put it right here in miscellaneous financing and just plug in, let's say 3 draws, 750, right? Right here.
It's at the bottom after second mortgage.
Because yeah, some of the hard money guys will have a fee to inspect or get your next draw.
Now, is that typically like $500 off a 3,000 draw?
Yeah, it's not much, but it all adds up $1,000 later, right? So
Out there who actually looks around, it's kind
yeah,
of like a little third-party inspector, and they're like, oh yeah, you did install the roof and the electrical, we can give you the draw.
And you, it's
So they have to
part
pay
of
that
your
person.
scope of work, so you kind of put benchmarks for your draws and you show that to your hiring manager. And they,
Yeah.
if they like it, then you'll know how many you'll have.
Well, that's what with the
It's just like
payment
carry
schedule.
it forward.
mm-hmm.
I try to live like something with them.
Yeah, they like to see that, they like to see your scope of work and how it is.
Well, they'll know you know what you're doing if you actually have it broken down like that. And it's $10,000 a week, really.
And so same thing for second mortgage for that P&L.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I actually had a great coaching call with, let me steal this for a minute. Let me take the mic again. Sorry, Michael. The mic from Mike. Okay. Yeah, put.
Back to 174 and see what
Yeah.
it would be with gap funding.
Put the typical. So typical, then if you're only getting 70 here, then you need 30 here at, right, 30% of the loan amount, and then the interest rate. You messed up your deal analyzer. Bad deal analyzer.
Download it again.
Yeah, right. Yes. So in that second mortgage, that's where I put my private money lender. So again, gap funding, private lender. Typically, okay, I'll tell you my cheat way, and then I'll tell you the right way.
How much cheaper it is.
What, it's cheaper to finance it when you have the second? Okay, so, well, because you have no interest in here, right? That's not interest. That's the amount of the loan. Your interest is supposed to be down here.
So, like your gap money might be like 20%.
Okay, so let's just say this is 80% and you're like, oh, I'll put 20% there, right? That's what typically people will do. Now, to be honest though, you have to pay these monthly financing fees. So you're going to come out of pocket, and your monthly holding costs that we came up with before based on your insurance and utilities and all that stuff. You're going to then end up paying these financing costs and those holding costs out of your pocket, right? Because you're only figuring out your purchase and rehab right now, the 80-20 split. So if you want to be smart about it and make your private money lender give you enough money to pay him and your hard money lender payments and all of your utility payments, your monthly holding costs while you're holding it, then you have to actually finagle the sheet. And instead of using a percentage for loan amount here and making this calculate a percentage, you hard enter this number. And that number is based off of what your total financing costs are plus your monthly holding costs times 5 because you're going to be holding it for 5 months, and you hard calculate that. So it's that 20% that you originally had plus the financing costs plus 5 months of those monthly holding costs. Did I just lose everyone? Or are we good? Right. So you could make that right. A cheat way is make it 25%. If this is at 80 and that's at 25, you probably are covered for those additional costs. So that's a quick cheat. So if you had your first mortgage at 80, your hard money, then the second at 25 instead of 20.
What interest rate do you put for the second?
So I typically have, 0 points and 12%, 10 or 12. It depends on which private lender I'm going to use.
So you use 12% typically for the first and the second?
I've seen people offer 14, 16.
What was it, Stereo at the last boot camp, so like maybe try to start with 10.
Spiros. Spiros?
Sparrows.
Sorry, Spiros.
Like start with 10, so they
10, definitely.
make room.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend telling your private money lender 12, but even my private money lender, I tried hard as shit to get him down, and he was like, nope, it's my first deal with you. I'll give you 12%, and you still got to guarantee me 6 months, right? And it was my friend.
Said like, hey, I do 12%.
Oh my goodness. And he was, I know. So
Yeah, 12%, you said 12%. I'm like, do it.
I'm like, all right, for the first one, and then we'll work it out from there. Okay, so that's that. What do we got on the buying transaction costs? Are we good with that right now? Everybody good with financing? What's the question? Of course, add.
When you're doing your numbers, we were talking about the private money lender, trying to get a little bit extra bucks from them to cover the closing costs. Just make sure all your numbers that you put in there are what you actually want from the private money lender prior to going to them. So like if you only need 40,000 for the gap, but you actually need 48,000 to cover the gap and your expenses, make sure that that's showing 48,000.
Yeah.
Because when he sees these numbers and you're all of a sudden asking for, 50,000, he's gonna go, well.
You only wanted 40 before. Why do you need 50 now?
So where's this, I'm not paying for a trip to Belize here for you, I'm
Yeah.
gonna, just make sure all your numbers do match prior to pre-sailing.
Yeah, especially because there's the investment summary sheet or something, right? You can print that out and give it to your private money lender, and if it doesn't match the numbers, yeah. Hello. Go grab a chair. Okay. So, but for right now, we're good with financing? We can move on? Yes? Okay. All right, buying transaction costs. Okay, so this is obviously when you buy it and then when you sell it. Why are your things all... It is jacked up. You need to throw a new one in there. Let me look at yours. Okay, escrow attorney fees. So, flat fee, typical $7.95.
Probably pretty close, yeah. For a transaction like that. Escrow fees?
Escrow fees?
Not even going to be that high, but
Yeah, I mean, well,
still have it.
and I'm used to seeing them mixed in with the title insurance anyway. I'm trying to remember what I have on one of mine. By the way, I'm going to upload a version of one of the deal analyzers that I've done onto the Facebook page after tonight. I'm so lazy that I color coded it. So if it's orange, that means I never change it. I just keep it as an assumption and just only focus on a few things because I don't have enough time to fuck with all this shit all the time. Again, please do not watch my weekly huddle with children. Okay. Sorry, I just had to do it. For all you moms out there, put the headphones on. Okay. I don't even mean to curse and I curse. Okay. So again, once you get, these are something that's gonna be straightforward on every deal. You shouldn't ever be bothered with it. Once you figure it out and you have your numbers, just don't mess with it. Selling, so Michael's an agent, so he's not gonna pay 6% realtor fees. If you're not an agent, put 6% in there, or whatever other rate you've negotiated with your agent.
You know what that miscellaneous buying cost too on that last training? So yeah, right there. So they said if you made a deal with the seller, maybe you're paying moving costs, that would be a good place to put that.
Right.
Yeah. costs. Yeah, if you're paying for their moving expenses or credit services or any of the other extra gimmies that you want to give them. Yeah.
So you're under the buying transaction cost right now? Or the
Yeah, we were on buying. So are there any questions there? Guys, what do you have in yours right now, Corin?
Well, we did the $7.95, and we did title insurance, or title insurance, $25 per quarter,
Okay.
and then $9.13.
That's okay because it's 25% of your purchase price.
Okay, oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then miscellaneous. Do you have anything under miscellaneous buying?
That's pretty accurate.
We have 500 buying costs.
But that was a
Oh,
big.
but that's because we were trying to offer the moving expenses.
Moving expenses? Okay.
Won't be that high. It'll be lower than that. But sometimes when you're buying houses from, well, most anybody, I would say, I don't buy houses unless I have an owner's policy, ever. There's just more expensive. Well, you need it, and I'll tell you why. When you transfer a house, let's say
All right,
Stuart
hold on.
sells me his house.
Hold on. This is good info.
So the reason I buy an owner's policy every time is to avoid title problems from yesteryear. So if Stuart's selling me his house and we're just going to transact it, hey, I'll give you $300 for your house, and boom, we're done. Stuart, we whip up a deed in the backyard and we go record it, and then we go to lunch at the Golden Rule Cafe, right? And so, but maybe Stuart got sued, maybe Stuart had an IRS lien. There's all kinds of things that you don't know about the person selling the house to you that you got to hedge against. And the only way to really do that is title insurance and getting an owner's policy. So the owner is essentially selling you this house and ensuring it has marketable title, free of liens and encumbrances. And if it does, well, that's the title company's problem now. But if you didn't buy an owner's policy, it is now your problem. So
So no quick claim deeds in the corner bar.
never, ever, ever do that. Unless you want to end up with the weirdest title you've ever seen. And it happens quite a bit. And sometimes we have to unravel it, even in our business, when I would tell somebody, please don't transfer the title between you and your mom. And what does she do? Transfers it. And I have to unravel it. Because once somebody enters title with anything, bankruptcy, tax liens, judgments, you have just clouded the title to the house you bought.
The biggest thing that can possibly happen with that is there's one type of lien that can actually be filed up to 6 months after you have purchased the property.
Yep. Mechanics liens.
So if you don't have
Yeah.
the owner's policy, it's all on you. It doesn't matter. You gotta pay whatever contractor comes through saying that
Right.
the previous owner owed them money.
So with the owner's policy,
That's a good
that
point.
happens,
That's true.
then it's up to the title
Title
company.
takes care of it.
Right.
Your title.
Yeah, just anytime you buy a house, I don't care, it costs more, but for God's sake, man, it's going to cost you way more when you can't transfer that house because it has clouded title.
So basically, when you open escrow, that's
Like, make a point to your escrow officer, I want an owner's policy. And in normal real estate transaction, like Mia does and I do, typically the seller pays for that. It's kind of almost an unwritten rule, right? But in our world of the house flipping and all the nonsense, it's not. It's no one wants to pay anything, right? They just want to get rid of the house. And I can tell you, I've seen enough deals with wholesalers transferring properties without title insurance, deeding the house between different entities. I mean, if, let's say Marie has Marie's LLC, and she sells me her house, and her company is not in good standing with the Corporation Commission in whatever state she's in, the likelihood of me being able to, first of all, the title company will check that and find out that it's not, so therefore she has to bring it current and get in good standing. But let's say you went ahead and signed that, you guys recorded it, and then you tried to sell the house. No way, no. I'm not going to be able to do it.
Is that all part of the realtor contract or
No.
totally separate?
It's you kind of got to know. And especially because we don't always use armless contracts or AAR contracts. We're using something written by some lawyer. It's pretty good, but you just need to know.
So you should ask for that at the time you do a contract with a realtor? If you do one with a realtor?
So now, during title, you're gonna pay for all of this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be part of your transaction.
Yeah, so that cost right there is pretty accurate. I cross collateral. I put a loan on that house for $175, and I got an owner's policy and title insurance. So I'm like $1,500. It keeps me safe, worth every friggin' penny, because I could have never got down to the 27 that I made on it if I had a clouded title, because there was all kinds of weird on this house when I bought it. Work half done. All kinds of stuff.
So just going back, just to add on to that. Sorry, Michael. This is fun. I got to see if I can find like a microphone splitter or something and get another one of these. So going back to the fact that we don't always use a MLS contract, and sometimes we're working directly with a seller and we're making them an offer and we want their offer to closing costs, right? Sometimes we do that. So this is where you have to put in those additional closing costs on your buying transaction, because typically title fees are split, right? Buyer and seller through the regular MLS transactions and stuff. But if you're offering to pay all of the closing costs as what you're giving, to the benefit of them, then you better make sure that these numbers reflect now that you're paying for all of those closing costs. Does that make sense? Yeah, the 795, the title insurance, all of these numbers, you want to make sure that you let the title company know, like, what are 100% closing costs, I'm going to be covering everything. And this is where you would put those in. Yeah, title. Okay. So selling transaction costs. Again, when you sell, you're usually going to pay half of the title fees and stuff. Recording, is it really that cheap? It's only $38. Again, realtor fees, typically it's going to be closer to 5 or 6%. Again, he's an agent, so he's only paying half. Transfer and conveyance, what do you have in your, Corin, as a percentage in transfer and conveyance? Is it always the 0.12? Okay. Just 12. That's fine. And then, I always put my staging costs in here. Oh, Whitley. Hi, Whitley. Shout out to Whitley. We use the same stager. I can recognize her fees. And then again, if you plan on doing any marketing on your own or any other miscellaneous selling costs, this is kind of everywhere where that goes. I usually do put in the $500 for the home warranty because I'll offer to pay for the home warranty a lot as the seller. It's like $500.
Do you guys typically do the home warranty and then straight at $500?
It's somewhere in that range. Or I usually offer to pay $500 towards the home warranty. So if they choose to get a warranty that's $850, they pay the difference. So that $500 is still what I offer to pay. Yeah. Appliances, yeah. Really? Yeah, but I think in Arizona, what is our required appliances?
Anything that is a
Tough. Just pretend it's not. I want her to be on. They can't even see you. They can only hear you. Okay, what's our required appliances in Arizona?
anything that is actually attached to the property. So an microwave, stove, and dishwasher are all included. Refrigerator is not typically included. It's an add-on. Same with washer and dryer would be considered an add-on. And
house, and I had actually had that insured separately too, because of that, which is so that there is in this current standing an additional 50K on that. So that way, because my numbers are included in that whole property itself, so if I lose the gas house, I'm not gonna get the 350 that my ARV is.
Yeah.
So I made that to, I added that in the insurance to cover that.
Yeah. So Chris just talked about having a guest house and having separate insurance for his guest house. And as someone who lived through Hurricane Sandy and I had 2 buildings on one lot, I will tell you that is a very good idea. We had insurance and we thought we were covered because it was like a 2-family. That's what the insurance thing said. And then of course, like a guy gets there after, we've had 15 feet of water in these properties for like 2 weeks. And finally the guy comes and he's like, nope, they're not attached. Doesn't matter, it's 2-family. They have to be physically attached. So my insurance agent effed that one up. So I had been paying for insurance for the past 5 years, but it didn't matter. It wasn't covered. So they only covered 1 building.
So the main house itself is covered for my whole loan amount. And
Yeah.
it's covered for that. The gas house is I bumped it up to an additional 50K.
Yeah, that's smart. So that, what, up in those insurance?
I had that in until like afterwards, once I got the insurance, going, okay, wait. But it's still in here, and I mean, it only bumped it up, because I had to prepay a year of insurance, which was $1,000, and it was already 600, so with the extra house on there was another $400, so
Yeah.
not terribly worried about that.
Yeah. All right. Are we good on buying costs, selling costs? Any questions? Everybody good? Okay. Keep going. Let's see what profit you're making. I still hate the fact that you're getting a 7% interest on your primary loan, Michael, but the 12, yeah, that percent, yep. Or 0.12%, I don't know, whatever that number that's. Okay, so was this even your original? No, your original number was like 28,408. How did we get to? Oh, we added some second mortgage and stuff. We forgave these, but how? I mean, I don't know. I'd be happy making 26K and on one flip in 5 months, especially if you have 5 others going on at the same time.
It was a good couple of months. So that's about what we made there.
Has everyone sat down with themselves or their business partner and figured out, I'd like to say that with yourself, figured out what your goals are, what you're looking for, what your bottom line is? Because this is definitely a very personal preference thing here, right? There are some people in this room that might be like, I have never done a deal and I will be happy making 20K profit on a flip, right? Hell yeah. Like, not turning down 20K profit. And I know that Fortune Builders too, different speakers talk about different percentages, returns, and what you want to make and stuff like that. So I just want to point out that everyone could have like different requirements here. It's totally up to you and your business model, but it is something that you should discuss with whoever your business partner is. For me personally, it's like 30K profit and 10% ROI. That's what I look for. If it's not in that range, I'll skip and look at another, So, but you should have that conversation so you can make decisions quickly. Because at the end of the day, we want to be able to make a decision and know which properties we're moving forward on, right? And you don't want to be stuck in limbo. Should I make an offer? Do I not make an offer? What am I going to do, Honestly, I'd say make the offer. You can always back out of it anyway. So always make the offer, but you know, decide what these numbers are going to be for you so that you can quickly analyze properties and make those offers. Is there anything else? I think everything else here is all just extra calculations. Is there anything below that? Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of going over the basics again. Well, I told you, I think your version of this is,
Divided by BD2, how could it be two fields? Hang on, let's see what B and C.
no, it would literally be BD.
His doesn't have the real estate fees, and he has
Well,
costs that he's got narrowed in.
no, definitely. So Mia brings up a good point, and I kind of alluded to it pretty, quickly before. When you're dealing with, getting 80% and having to pay a point or two and pay 12% interest, your profit is now going to get eaten away, and you might walk away from this deal where he's still going to be able to go after it, right? Because he's got that line of credit at 7%. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to get a line of credit from a bank. That's my next goal. Commercial line of credit from a bank. But yeah, there's definitely, everyone's going to have slightly different, criteria based on who they're working with and what they can get. But I know I don't want to be going up against him on a bid on a house. I hope that we're mostly in different neck of the woods, so that's okay. There's enough deals in Arizona for all of us. I promise you. I am. So there are enough deals for all of us.
I kind of figure if I can make 10% of my money, which is 1,000 more percent that you can make at the bank, right?
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Anything's.
I don't care if it's 28,000, 32, 47.
Yeah.
Because those are easy deals to do, and those houses sell super fast.
Yeah. But that's your particular buying criteria, and that's your bread and butter. So that's another topic probably for another day, but figuring out what is your target market, what is your goals. Because if you don't narrow it down, you're going to be running after those shiny squirrels or whatever the frick Linda Peterson says, right? Right. Yeah. And then, you take advantage of, even Zillow or Redfin or, they're not 100% accurate, but it's nice being able to pop in there and it's just easy to see the neighborhood. I mean, you could see what all of these, properties sold for or its estimates are versus these. And it's kind of easy to have that nice map view, Yeah.
Or send the address to your local real estate agent.
Yes. And Mia will do comps.
I typically don't do the comps on their sheet, on that sheet. I just do them in the tax records. And if we find a house we want, we comp it and see, well, can we sell it for $270? Yeah, okay, let's go buy it. Just go look at it and see if it works, if we can get it under contract. So, yeah, maybe I don't do all of these things, but I do these in a different manner. I've actually never looked at that page. I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Summary actually gives you information you could use for your private lender.
Sure.
It gives you a summary of the deal.
That's nice to put with your lending packet.
Yeah.
Post it on private lending. They can look at that financial.
Well, a lot of, I guess maybe the hardest part of this, obviously you got to have this filled out, and you probably want it filled out before or at the time you're making an offer, because usually you have to move pretty fast with hard money, right? Yes. So yeah, and if you don't have it filled out and you don't have a plan, you're probably not going to get hard money. I mean, I know what's the guy who came in here? He's a big. So you know, they have a formula, but they really don't, because every deal is different. And I can tell you, because I've dealt with many hard money guys, and they all do it different. They don't just say, oh, your house is 100 grand, I'll give you 65 LTV, because that's what it used to be. 65, hit the road. That's it. So, but they just, you know, I like the way he does it. I've heard some other formulas that are pretty good. And if there's any way to get a longer time on your contract, I would do it. Just, you know, not everybody needs to close yesterday. I used to think that was really important. Not so important. I would say the last 6 houses we bought, the fastest we closed was 2 weeks. And most of them went 30 days. Because we could, yeah, you're right. Because some of them I would buy, like the one that's around the corner from this, it was an older woman who was moving, and she was, you know, she needed time. And I didn't care. So, you know, then it worked out in our favor. Because I think some people get, you know, irritated with us sometimes when we're like, well, we can close on Friday, you know. And it's like, you're all tweaking. Yeah. Yeah, kind of like those Open Doors and all of those companies.
And do you do the 30-day closing and then add the 10 days after that? For like 40?
For your inspection and stuff, you say?
Yeah, like for
Oh,
Usually the inspection period is part of the 30.
right.
So you have 10 days
Yeah,
for inspection, but you're still going to close within 30 days.
right.
So they start concurrently on their
Yeah.
If you, well, okay, but if you're dealing directly with the seller and you're not using the MLS form, you could make it. Who cares if it's a 40-day closing?
Right.
If they're okay with 40 days, make it 40 days.
Yeah.
The closing date. Or 50.
Yeah.
Okay, agree with it exactly. It doesn't matter.
And-
Make it 45 days, you know? I've done that too. I have to do 45 days for a FHA loan or a VA loan or something like that. So the new buyers, you know, they need it 45 days. So they can't, they take
Yeah.
longer.
And if you can do, well, because we like to buy them off MLS and we like to buy that price point, we show them proof of funds. Just here's how much, here's the money in the bank, so we can close on this deal. So they don't get so nervous about 30 days when they can see the bank account has X dollars in it. So there's more than one way to do this, and you know,
All right.
we all do it a little differently. So
I know. I'm stealing this from you again. Oh my goodness. All right. So, any questions about that tab, that whole deal analyzer? I know people are still going to say, well, how do you pick comps? How do you figure out repairs? But those are going to probably be their own weekly huddle just to go through those details. But I want to make sure everybody understands this, and I'll give you a couple of ninja tips. Who wants a ninja tip? Everyone's asleep in the room right now. Who wants a ninja? Hiya! Yeah, not that good. I'm like, yeah. Okay, that's as good as I get. Okay, so I briefly mentioned it, but I'll say it again. I do use this all the time. I only change like 3 or 4 numbers every time. I just, half the time, I don't even care what the actual freaking taxes are. If it's $1,200 or $1,500, just put $1,500 and never worry about it again, right? Unless you're in a, unless it's $3,500, right? Like then you have to go back and you think about it. But we are in a business where you want to be able to make fast decisions and you want to be able to analyze deals quickly. So don't get caught up in some of the minutia. Just be, that's semantics. Don't get caught up in that. Just be confident that that's the typical, and then move on. You know, we're not going to sit here. Oh, it's summer. It's $150 for electric, and you know, $10. Just $200 a month average utilities. Just move on.
For like utilities, I actually use like an actual, like my other homes, of what their actual monthly stuff is, and I just go by
Sure.
that. 'Cause then
Put that in
all
there, and then don't ever think about it again. You don't change it every time you do a deal analyzer. You know what I'm saying? And then for repair estimator, I will tell you quickly that I'll look through the photos like Michael just showed us of like that kitchen, you know, whatever. I'll make quick decisions and say, okay, this is either gonna be a $25,000 renovation, lipstick makeover. This is gonna be a $50,000. I have to gut everything, every cabinet, rip down walls, update electric, who knows. Or I'm like adding square footage. I'm not really blowing up second stories. That's not a big thing here in Arizona. But adding square footage. Like I'm going to add a master bedroom suite because I'm working on a small house in Central Phoenix that's 850 square feet, and I'm going to make it 1,200 square feet, and I'm going to add a master bed and bath or something like that. Then I'm like, okay, I'm at 80, 90, maybe even 100,000. But I've done those, so I know kind of what those are. But typically, like, make some quick assumptions and say it's either 25, 50, or 75. That's my reno cost. Once you get it under contract, then sit there and go through the repair estimator. Then have your contractors come in and give you numbers. Don't waste time, again, saying I can't make an offer because I don't know what the repair costs are. Make an assumption. Make the offer. Get it under contract. Do your homework. Good? Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Or do like Mike does, which is make a little bit of a higher offer that you know it ain't worth, get it under contract, and then bring in your contractors and tell them all the shit that's wrong, and then get them to reduce the price later anyway, right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm giving away Mike's ninja tips. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Yes. Yeah, so I typically have my contractor come with me to my walkthrough if I feel like it needs it. Or if I look at it, there's been properties where if it's on the MLS, I don't need my contractor to come with me through the regular walkthrough, right? I have my inspection period. If it's through a wholesaler, then yes, I'm gonna have my contractor come with me and maybe like, I don't know, scope a sewer. You ever scope a sewer? Scope baby Jesus come with you? Is that what you said? Have you like came and like be like, I have to have time to just scope the sewer or do this or do that. And they're gonna be negotiable with certain things. Yeah.
And wholesalers, if they've had the property for a while, they'll give you a 3-day inspection period.
Yeah.
You can still negotiate it.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I want the property, but just give me 3 days, or even 24 hours.
Yeah.
So usually you can get sewer scoped in 24 hours, right? So you get under contract and then go and have somebody scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 days normally.
10 days with the typical MLS contract. If you're working directly with the wholesaler, you can still take that assignment of contract and give yourself an inspection period. Yep.
Some people will do it.
Yeah.
15 days. I like to do that because it gets them mentally engaged in the deal, and they're like, oh, thank God we sold this house. And then on that 14th day at midnight, when I send the vendor over, it's like the War and Peace of vendors. And yeah, it kind of unravels it a little bit, but hey, we get what we want.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
That's-
see that selling cost? That's
Selling.
I just looked it up.
Well, that's your kids.
On the settlement. So it was within that we estimated.
He sold his kid. So he's just showing me on this one, he estimated his selling transaction cost at 11,680, and his actuals were what, 10,441. So he saved a little, so that he made back an extra $1,200 or something like that at the end of the day. So again, that's why it's important to fill it out, but I also think it's important to fill it out for what a typical is, and then never worry about it again. It's not worth your time unless you're doing something particular, like all of a sudden you're paying all of the closing costs on the buying side. Then yes, add those costs in, or you're paying, some other crazy fees that you need to put in there.
So this is what a settlement statement looks like. You've probably seen one on your own house, but
Yours is weird with all the blank space. That's typical. Dang.
This deal worked out pretty good.
So your actual sale price was the 270?
Yeah. Like,
Nice.
I literally hung the sign up, got in my car, drove home,
And had an offer?
and yeah, it was 3 hours.
Yeah, I honestly can say that if you can stay under 300 as your resell price right now in anywhere in Phoenix, you are going to get a buyer within a week. Just because the market is so crazy right now. All right, we're at our time. Do you have one more ninja tip?
They want me to host a live open house.
Are we good? You like the mic? Oh, be like Mike. That's your ninja tip. Mike's going to do a whole nother presentation on reading contracts and make sure that everyone knows what they're signing and reading, especially assignment of contracts. We got to look at the original contract, but that's a whole nother. So, all right. Thank you guys for coming. Bye, Facebook family. Say bye, Vanetta.